Friend had a heart attack giving birth. First question I hear, how's the baby? I can't even. In our group, my friend was updating me about our pregnant friend. I was like, oh, how's the baby? I think I missed it when it was born. Y'all, she went into labor last week and just gave birth yesterday. I was shocked and didn't even know that was a thing. She had a very difficult birth and was put on magnesium during the pregnancy. My friend proceeds to tell me during birth she had a straight up heart attack and something is damaged with her heart now. I was about to ask how she is when another friend asked how the baby is first. A woman has a heart attack and y'all are asking about the baby? Baby is premature and in an egg incubator thing. It was just wild to me because I even had no idea a person could have a heart attack because of giving birth. It's just a mild rant because of how much the birth messes with a person. My friend was advised to do a C-section a week ago, and this happened. A part of me feels like a butt face because I asked myself, was that worth it? To me, it is a solid no, but I know to these people they are willing to do it. Plan to send her a gift card for some nice takeout. Adding this to my list of reasons for never wanting to be pregnant or giving birth. My mom is desperate for grandkids, yeesh, and so we talk about it a lot. More like she talks, I listen. At this point, no matter what I say, it's not going to stop her from trying to convince me to change my mind. But a few years ago, I was like, gosh, pregnancy seems straight up awful. And she was like, no, pregnancy is such a beautiful experience. Plus you're all glowy and your hair grows real thick. This is coming from a woman who had 7 miscarriages, including a topical pregnancy and lost a fallopian tube. My aunt, her sister, literally had her gallbladder taken out while she was 7 months pregnant. Dang, if I wanted some thick hair, I'll go get extensions. I'm sorry, what? Regarding she went into labor last week and just gave birth yesterday? Heck to the no. I did not even know this was possible. How is she doing now? I heard of a woman who went into labor for 2 weeks straight and no baby came out. She then got pregnant again later in life and gave birth to a baby. When she died of old age, they did an autopsy and they found a mummified baby inside of her. It's called lithopedion. Edit, the woman is Anna Mullern, and the labor actually lasted 7 weeks. 7. Yep. My partner's sister gave birth to our niece on Sunday and had to immediately go in for an MRI because they suspected that she was having a stroke. Luckily, it wasn't a stroke, but she's still suffering some paralysis in her face that might never go away. No thanks, not for me. And the pro-birth crowd is like, just give birth and give it up for adoption. People die or suffer severe medical complications from birth, which are not talked about. Oh my god, paralysis on the face? Will she be okay? We're not sure yet. She talks a little funny and looks a little off right now. She's on medications and is okay otherwise, but we're just gonna have to wait and see overall. My mom had 2 friends that had the same thing happen. One's went away and sometimes would flare up and her face would droop a little bit, and the other friends never went away. So we're all hopeful, but sadly it's just a waiting game. Frustrated. It might be Bell's palsy. Inflammation presses on a nerve and causes paralysis. Can be caused by stress, which childbirth absolutely is, lol. Sometimes it goes away and sometimes you're just stuck with it. Sylvester Stallone had it happen to him, and that's why his face and slur is the way they are. People don't realize, but even today, human birth is still insanely dangerous for the mother. Totally agree. It seems to be something we aren't even allowed to talk about. My cousin had a heart attack during labor and died in February. She was 29, and it was her first child. I had time off work for the funeral, and when asked about it, I told them what happened. There happened to be a pregnant coworker around, and I was told off for saying how she died in front of her. How dare you scare off the birthing machines? Don't tell the sheep about the butcher. That's seriously horrible. You sound like a lovely friend to her. I was listening to the audiobook of The Dun Cow Rib by the English naturalist John Lister Kane recently. It's a memoir of his childhood, mostly in the 1950s, and how he got so into nature. And all the way through, there are references to how bad his mother's health was, descriptions of hospital stays and operations she had. She had rheumatic fever as a teenager and recovered well enough to live a full life, but pregnancy and childbirth wrecked her heart to the point where she had to spend most of her time from there on in bed. Like, there was a point where surgeons felt like they could have tried something more, but too much of her heart was basically scar tissue by that stage, so they couldn't. The whole thing sounds brutal. I wasn't sure of rheumatic fever and this particular effect of it, but apparently it's still a problem in some parts of the world. It's just mind-blowing how badly pregnancy and childbirth can affect pretty much any part of the body, relative to how blasé most people are about it. Apparently to the point where, in case of your group original poster, some continue to be blasé even when something incredibly serious and dangerous has happened. Thank you. I haven't been keeping tight tabs on her because my mom said the last thing a person wants after giving birth is a huge crowd of people playing 20 questions. I figured I'd visit when she's ready for visitors, not just because I want to find out. Sent a few get well texts and we'll send a gift card. Just the baby, boy, is in the NICU, so she's staying there as she recovers herself. What pees me off is that those pro-birth people act as if giving birth is a walk in the park. My friend could have died of a heart attack, and now will probably have complications the rest of her life because of it. It can be hard to get the balance right, can't it? You want someone to know that you're thinking of them, but at the same time not to add their list of things they have to think about. It sounds like you're doing the right things. I'm not surprised you're peed off. These are her friends who are supposed to care about her, right? Waving away something so serious, I don't think I'd look at them in quite the same way again. Women in labor can get memory loss, lifelong incontinence, loose teeth, eyesight loss, hearing loss, and that's just a few of many. What the frick? Teeth? Acid erosion to the teeth from morning sickness or acid reflux. Changes to dietary habits, especially increasing sugar, hits during pregnancy, which can increase the risk of tooth decay. Gum disease due to an increase in hormone levels, which exacerbates the body's natural inflammatory response to plaque. I've worked with women who no longer are legally allowed to work due to stroke during childbirth. A classmate of mine's pregnant friend got into a minor car accident. They were both okay. Not one person asked if the friend was okay, only if the baby was okay. Pregnancy and potential birth complications are a huge reason why I'll never be having a kid. Thank you for wanting to know how she's doing. Seriously. Everyone forgets how traumatic birth is, and not she is adding another trauma, a heart attack because quote-unquote innocent hopeless baby. I can't imagine what she and the spouse, assuming there's a partner, are dealing with, a very close death experience. You sound like a thoughtful friend. I hope you continue showing them that they're still individuals to you versus only parents. My older sister had a stroke during childbirth, and that left some lingering paralysis in a couple fingers and toes. My blood pressure spiked like crazy right after delivery, but the doctors had been warned about my family history of stroke during childbirth, and so were already on the lookout for problems. I knew someone who had a baby when she was in her late 20s. About 2 months later, her husband came home from work and found her dead, apparently from a blood clot. I don't remember the exact percentages, but until the 20th century, a huge number of women died in childbirth or soon after from complications from it. Today, too many people assume that there's no significant risk in childbirth, which is nonsense. I can't understand the babies are the most important thing crowd. I remember there was a married woman and she had cancer, but she just had to have a baby, so she stopped treatment. Doctors told her she'd die. She did shortly after the birth, and her husband got left to raise the baby alone. He was also on board with this plan. I mean, what the actual frick? How is having a baby more important than an already existing person? A lot of medical professionals will also try to save the baby over the mother. Seriously, frick you. Also, remember that woman in Florida that went into the hospital to have a baby and got a flesh-eating infection and had all 4 limbs amputated? Yeah, frick that. All nopes all the way. OMG, stop. You're giving me nightmares. I used to work with someone whose tween or 13-year-old daughter would occasionally come in with her dad. Nice kid if a little insecure. I ended up moving away for years and ran into the father in a store sometime after I returned. Turns out the kid got knocked up in her late teens, had an embolism or aneurysm, not sure on the diagnosis, but it was a heart thing, and died about 2 days after the baby was born. The father bailed, and the woman I worked with and her hubby ended up with another child to raise. Nuh-uh, unsubscribe.